The idea of what is a public space? How could we reinvent public space via dance, through dance? And I must say recently I'm still doing Musée de la Danse, but more and more I do Musée de la Danse, but as if we could invest in the public space, the public sphere. And because I think there is a big need, a political need, a social need, maybe a freedom need that we need to invest in the public space, in the public squares, in the streets, and how we can rethink our art in these times and in Europe it's times where you have many more soldiers in the streets, armed soldiers, than dancers. So how do we act then? If we add dancers to the soldiers, but what do they do? How do they perform? What kind of art is not only available but possible there? And how do the people meet? And I do think dance is a fantastic medium, politically active, to make people meet, to exchange things, because dance is very instant. You don't need a stage, you don't need a tribune, you don't even need a mic. So you did basically nothing. So that suddenly a public square is, you have passers-by, you have workers going there, you have people going shopping, you have people having a sandwich. But if you add dancers, suddenly you don't know where the dancers are, because everybody, all those people could be dancers, could be dancing in a second. All those bodies. Yes. So I think dance is maybe probably the right medium to, I don't know if it's to re-enchant the public sphere, but not far from that.
So even the idea of an institution you're now feeling needs to move towards something that has very almost fluid walls, or even without
walls. I must say it's still really the idea of Musée de la Danse, because in a sense we looked for an architecture. So what kind of building do we need? We do have a building in Rennes. We have two little buildings. They were built before the project of Musée de la Danse came to life, let's say. But I like these buildings, but they are not very public. And then we were knocking at the doors of many other institutions, say, hey, please, can we do an exhibition? Can we perform? Can we be in the whole theater and do different things? But there was a moment where we thought, this empty square, we have a huge one in Rennes. We did a big event there it was attended by more than 16,000 people in one Sunday, 12 hours, 4 months ago. And when we did this project, so it was a 12-hour marathon called Fous de Danse, I realized that this was maybe the best architecture for a Musée de la Danse, to have no walls, to have no proper building. So the absence of a building was maybe our fragility, our problem, but maybe our strength. And therefore I think it's still Musée de la Danse what we're doing, but the walls, they are invisible, they are not there, and this makes the movements really a tool for permeability between the bodies.